Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. So we're going to have Corporate Dysfunction Stories episode 2, and this one is entitled Roaches in the Ceiling. And this happened at Company B, which was the utterly dysfunctional shit show of a company that I spent 7 years at in the middle of my career. And man, this was around the summer of 2014, 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. And so every summer, the company, being an aircraft manufacturer, would pull in a big crop of interns from some of the local colleges and, some who applied from further afield. They'd bring in interns for the summer for, I don't know, an 8 or 10 or 12 week rotation. And they would come in and they'd work a position for that time. And then they might come back subsequent summers. And if they were about to start their senior year, the company would go ahead and make them potentially a job offer so that while they were going through their senior year, they already had a job offer lined up. And then hopefully the company could get them to come work there the next year after they had finished school. And so we had our interns come through. And at the end of it, at the end of the summer, the company extended the job offers, and not a single intern accepted. Out of all the ones that the company had thought were worthy of getting a job offer, zero accepted. And the company kind of had to do some introspection. Now, it's kind of hard at that place. It's very, very dysfunctional. And so one of the things that they did is they sent out one of these questionnaires. You get a third party to come in to do a survey for you, and often when that happens in the corporate world, they're not really interested in what the employees have to say in the survey. Typically, it's done because somebody at the director or VP level wants something to happen, but they don't have the political power within the company to make it happen. And so instead, what they'll do is they'll go out and they'll hire a survey company, and then they'll construct the survey in a way where that director or VP can then say, hey, this idea that I had, this would fix the problem that I've identified through the survey. And so the survey is simply a means to an end. And so they sent this survey out, and it's, all the normal kind of corporate survey junk of, how proud are you to work at company B, and how likely are you to recommend it to someone else, and all these other things. Do you feel like you can trust your managers? And well, no, no. And so at the end, as is typical, it has the open response. You know, type something we miss, whatever you want to say, put it here. And I said, we lost all those interns. Not a single one of them took our offer. Maybe one thing we could try doing, just one thing, hear me out. I told them maybe one thing we can try doing is have the maintenance people come around on the engineering floor, open up all the light fixtures, and vacuum out all the dead roaches. Just vacuum out the dead roaches from the light fixtures. It's a tiny thing, but it says a lot about the culture of the company when every light fixture on the entire massive engineering floor of this building has dead roaches in the light fixture. I mean, at least it says that there's an exterminator spraying pesticide into the light fixtures. I mean, that's good because, that's one of the penetrations where bugs will get from the ceiling into where the humans are is through the light fixture. So at least there's pesticide there to kill them. But I just suggested, hey, come through and do that. It's a small thing that's going to make the place just look better. And it's the kind of deal where if there are no roaches in the light fixtures, nobody notices. But once they realize that every light fixture is full of dead roaches, boy, do they realize. And so I submitted it, and I was never shy like some of my coworkers about filling out those surveys, about just telling them whatever I thought, cuz I always felt like, if the company wants to back at me for something I said on the survey, they're kind of doing me a favor. I never really worried about that. I also figured company B was too incompetent to actually like organize a response against a survey participant whose answers they didn't like. So I just didn't worry about it. So I sailed that off into the nether of the survey and expected nothing to ever happen and to never hear about it again. And so we get to the end of the week. I go home for the weekend. And when I come back on Monday, every single light fixture had been emptied of roaches. And I was amazed. It was like something I suggested actually got implemented in the corporate world. And I have a not insignificant amount of bitterness over my career over um not achieving the things that I would have liked to have achieved in my professional career, but at least I can say that when I pointed out the light fixtures were full of roaches, and that could potentially turn off some interns who might otherwise take full time offers from us, it got remedied. Let me know what you think, guys. Thanks to everyone who makes this content possible, especially my very generous supporters on Patreon. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade. And clean out your light fixtures.